So let me ask you this. Ever been on a date or in a conversation where you're trying to figure out, are they actually interested in me or are they just really polite? Because let me tell you, politeness, yeah, it can be a little sneaky sometimes because some people were raised with manners so good that you could be sitting there across from them thinking, wow, sparks are flying, when really they're just trying to follow their grandmother's golden rule of don't be rude at dinner. That's what we're unpacking today. The subtle signs that somebody is actually into you. The little signals that are easy to miss if you're distracted by your nerves or your own running commentary in your head. By the end of today's episode, you're going to know how to read those small moments and figure out if someone's genuinely interested or if you've just been talking to an especially friendly person who's killing time before their DoorDash order arrives. If that sounds at all interesting or intriguing, I hope you'll stick around because that's what's on the agenda. Let's start with eye contact because it's the universal currency of interest. And no, I don't mean the accidental quick glances that you give when you're checking if there's spinach in your teeth. I'm talking about real eye contact, when someone is genuinely interested in you. They're not scanning the room, they're not glancing down at their own phone every 30 seconds, and they're definitely not making that I'm nodding, but actually thinking about what to order on Amazon face. It's different when they're into you. Their gaze, like they're tuned into your frequency. Even if you're telling a story about your obsession with jigsaw puzzles or how your dog has separation anxiety when you leave the room, they're locked in. And that's not politeness, that's curiosity. I'll tell you the difference. Polite eye contact looks like, I'm here, I'm listening, I have good manners. Interested eye contact looks like, I see you and I want to see more of you. It's subtle, but once you notice it, it's hard to miss. And if you're sitting there wondering, okay, Carey, but how long is too long before it's creepy? Trust me, you'll know. If it crosses into serial killer vibes, it's no longer flirting. That's when you put down your drink and you skedaddle. Next sign is that they remember the little details. I can't tell you how many clients I've had come back from dates saying, yeah, I couldn't really tell if they liked me. And then they randomly mentioned to me that this person remembered their dog's favorite treats or something. And I'm like, honey, if somebody remembers your dog prefers salmon skin to peanut butter, that's not random trivia. That's interest. If somebody remembers your coffee order is oat milk and 2 pumps of vanilla, that's not them being polite. That's them putting your words in the VIP section of their brain. Now here's where people get tripped up though. They'll say, oh, they're just a good listener. Yeah, maybe, but most good listeners forget half of what you said before you even finish saying it. Somebody who's really genuinely interested is going to circle back to those little things. They say, oh, did you get to finish that book you mentioned? Or how did your niece's recital go? That's not small talk. That's attention. The language of love for people who are actually into you. You know those red velvet ropes at a club or a restaurant? I once found myself on the classy side of that divider and immediately proved that I didn't belong. I tried to casually hop over it on my way to the ladies' room and instead, full body, full marble floor, faceplant. A lovely gentleman scraped me up off the floor, and I did what any respectable woman would do. I flipped my hair like Miss Piggy, and I pretended it was all part of the plan, and I kept on moving. That's pretty much the vibe around here, too. If you can pop back up, dust yourself off, and hobble off with a belly laugh, then you're definitely in the right place. And channel membership is meant for you. There's a button down there. No, down here. There. Right to the left? No, too far left. Oh, yeah. Here's a fun one. Mirroring. Mirroring is when somebody unconsciously mimics your body language. I mean, you can do this consciously, but that would, if you noticed and they were doing it on purpose, that would be weird. But you lean in and then they lean in. You take a sip of your drink and they take one too. When you smile, they smile back, not just politely, but kind of almost in sync. It's not about copying somebody, it's about chemistry. Their body is literally saying, look, we're on the same wavelength. Think of it like the dating version of Bluetooth. Follow me here. You don't see the connection, but suddenly you're synced up. Now, this is easy to miss because it's subtle unless it's forced. But once you notice it, it feels a little magical. Like, wait a second, are they just doing what I'm doing, or are we secretly in a rom-com and didn't know it? Chances are you've got somebody whose body is betraying their feelings for you. And honestly, isn't that the kind of betrayal we're all rooting for? Now let's talk about questions. When someone's really interested, they don't just ask you what you're doing this weekend. They ask bigger questions, ones that peek into your future. They'll say things like, have you ever wanted to travel to Europe? Or what's something you've always wanted to try but haven't yet? I mean, they could just be a great conversationalist or have my list, but those aren't throwaway questions. Those are typically, for most people, curiosity questions about you and your dreams and your goals, your big picture things, right? Because they want to know if they can see themselves in that picture. This is the difference between polite conversation and real interest. Polite is, how was your day today? Interested is, so what's something on your bucket list that might include me? Polite is, what's your favorite kind of food? Interested says, if you could eat only one type of food for the rest of your life, what would it be? And let's be clear, people don't waste curiosity on somebody that they're not actually into. If they're trying to dig into your hopes and dreams, they're trying to figure out if their future and your future could possibly overlap. Here's one that people often overlook: nervous energy. When someone is interested, they don't always play it cool. Sometimes they, and I know you're shocked, right? Sometimes they actually get a little flustered. They'll fidget with their napkin or laugh a little too loudly at your jokes, stumble over their words, or act kind of awkward in ways that they normally wouldn't. I've had clients say, oh my God, I don't think that they liked me because they seemed so nervous. And I'll be like, if somebody's relaxed and super chill around you, that's nice, but if they're tripping over their words, that's way better. That's adrenaline, and you did that. Maybe think of it this way. If someone is nervous around you, it's because they care about how they're coming across. They're interested in your impression of them. If they didn't care, they'd be easy breezy casual. Nervousness isn't a flaw. It's usually attraction in disguise. And yeah, sure, sometimes nerves can look like awkwardness, but awkwardness plus laughter, that's just another way of saying you really matter to me. Okay, let's get into touch. Casual, innocent touches are one of the strongest indicators of interest. A quick touch on your arm when they're trying to make a point, a gentle pat on the back as you walk through a doorway. These aren't accidents, these are test balloons. They're seeing if you're comfortable with physical closeness, if the chemistry feels mutual. Now, don't overanalyze every handshake or high five or a punch in the arm, but if you notice a pattern, if they keep finding reasons to make those little points of contact, that's not neutral, that's intentional. Touch is primal. It communicates volumes without a single word. And when somebody likes you, they'll often use these little gestures to bridge the space between you. And if you're wondering, well, Carey, how do I know if I should touch them back? Here's the rule. If it feels natural, do it. If it feels forced, then don't. Chemistry should feel like flow, not choreography. And finally, the biggest sign, they make time for you. People make time for what matters to them, what's important to them, period. If somebody has a packed schedule but still can carve out an evening to see you, 100%, that's genuine interest. And if they rearrange things to make space for you, that is not politeness, that's prioritizing you. Now, I don't mean that they're going to cancel their grandmother's birthday dinner to grab drinks with you. I mean, if they do, run. because that's not romance. That's disrespect to grandma. But if they consistently make the effort to include you in their life, even when it's not convenient, that's a huge sign. Because, time is the most valuable thing we all have. And if they're giving it to you, that means that you matter to them. So there you have it, 7 signs to help you figure out if someone is really interested. Individually, any of these could be written off as politeness or coincidence, but when you start stacking them up, that's not friendliness. That's attraction trying really hard to fly under the radar. So the next time you're on a date and you're wondering, ooh, do they like me or are they just being polite? Think about me. I'm probably right there on your shoulder, reminding you to ask follow-up questions, but also I could remind you to pay attention and read the signs. They're probably right in front of you. All right, I hope you found that helpful. And if you did, you might enjoy this episode on how to read the signs, the signals. Oh, before you go, do me a favor. Give my mom here the thumbs up. She's watching and she just loves to see those numbers go up. And don't forget to subscribe because unlike decoding flirting signals, subscribing is obvious, easy, and a guaranteed yes. I appreciate you being here with me today. And until next time, have a good one.